Hello, everyone. This is Beastly Eel, and on today's episode, we're going to be talking about one of the Eternals, specifically Thena. Thena is an Eternal, and like all the other Eternals, she was created by the Celestials 1 million years ago and was looked after humanity ever since. Now, initially, she goes by the name Azrael, Azra, we'll say. And she encounters a deviant known as Crow around 100,000 years ago, and the two begin a relationship which was frowned upon by her people. Now, a deviant is, to my understanding, just a human. And I could be wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Homo devious is, it's a little bit higher than a uh, Homo sapien. But anyway, I digress. So, and the two began a relationship, and apparently the other Eternals were not happy with this, and they were told to end it, which is not all that surprising because that always goes over well. So later on, she finds another deviant lover, and she claims that this guy's different. He's a man of science. He's not just um, a crazy person. Unfortunately, what they found out was this guy, Tazkio, was replacing his own organs with other humans and Neanderthals to extend his own life. And he was studying, and the only reason why he was dating Thena was because he was trying to understand her, and that way he could take the organs out of her and live on even longer. So after she figures it out, she kills him. And then she claims that she's never going to sleep with another human ever in her life. And of course, as always, that's a lie. Um, so this guy Crow comes back into her life, and they try to get back together in 500 BC, but it didn't last long at all, and they broke up again. So now we see that the Eternals are now trying to meet up with the Greek gods. So Ezreal and Zurus, who is her father, meet up with Athena and Zeus. And with the four of them noticing so much similarities between the two of them, they realize that they're not so much different and they should join together in an alliance. So because of that, the Eternals would act like gods that represented Earth. And as part of the agreement, this is where Azria becomes Thena as a token of their agreement, because Athena, Thena, because they're so similar, that's what they're supposed to be, which, whatever. And apparently, because of that, Thena's been mistaken for Athena multiple times during the ancient times because they look so similar, and she is, well, I would imagine, very similar to that. They obviously go by, so apparently in the 1940s, during early part of World War II, they take the identities of the Roman gods, which doesn't really make sense to me in my personal opinion, but whatever, it is what it is. Um, so anyway, now decades later, Thena and Crow go back together, and they start doing the nasty, and they now have two children, twins. Um, Thena thought it would be best to remove the kids from herself and give them to a infertile woman who would raise the children, and they were called Donna and Deborah. So the two of them now, um, having twins, still sort of together, um, it didn't work out again, surprisingly. So Crow is basically their version of Hades, apparently, and so he leads his army into attack on New York after the arrival of the fourth group of Celestials. Thena opposes him; she goes against him. So they decide to. He wants to call a truce, and then she decides that she's going to reveal her race's existence to the entire world, to the entire universe, really. And because of that, now the entire planet knows of the Eternals. So later on, Athena becomes the Prime Eternal. Um, and becomes basically the leader of them all, or the goddess or the queen of them all. But she's traumatized by her father's death, and she was very much influenced by a brain mind um, crow or co Kro had placed upon her, and it turned her against Icarus to help save Crow's life. Um, but she later gave up that title and gave it to Icarus after what happened, when specifically when she learned about the brain mine, and she was furious at what was happening. So as time goes on, apparently countless bodies of the Celestials rain down on Earth to herald the arrival of the Dark Celestials. The Eternals were made to learn a dark truth that drove them mad, that the true purpose of their kind was to cultivate humankind. Since the first host of the Celestials allowed humanity to thrive because they saw in the genetic makeup a potential to act as antibodies against the Horde. In their madness and frustration, they learned that their true purpose and the Eternals turned against each other, either killing each other or themselves, and that included Thena. Now, you would think, oh, that's the end of the story, but it's Marvel and nothing ends that way. So apparently, after the mass suicide, they were all reborn at the exclusion, including Thena, who was cured of her madness. The madness being the craziness that went on of them revealing the truth of what happened. So apparently, Thanos was also resurrected um, by a traitor among them, and even though he began killing the Eternals, starting with Zerus and sabotaging the machines of the resurrection at the inclusion, basically threatening Earth's biosphere. Thena was interrogated by Cirrus about her father's death, but mostly because they claim that because Thena was always going with the humans, that she was going against her father, and that's what killed him. And she was claiming that because he was all against it, that she killed her father because of it. It turned out that they figured out that it wasn't her, and they went after Thanos. Well, Thanos retreated, and they finally realized that Thena was not the bad guy. So as they go to fight Thanos again to eliminate him, Thanos was actually prepared for this. So apparently, Athena and her fellow Eternals were able to overwhelm Thanos, but faced Fatios, which is another Eternal, accidentally teleported her and the others all over Earth while trying to teleport them to the exclusion to help them fix the resurrection machine that he broke. Icarus gave his life to use his matter manipulation power to repair the machine. He and the others later learned the reason for Thanos' actions. The Eternals were resurrected at the cost of human lives, and that the resurrection machine couldn't be turned off without endangering Earth, which is why it was destroyed to begin with, apparently. Thena and the other Eternals discussed the problem um, with the newly resurrected father, which was Zerus, but realized it was unlikely that the resurrection process would ever be changed. So they had to meet with the idea that they were never going to be able to resurrect the rest of them. And that's pretty much her story, which is so bizarre to me because we're going to be seeing her in the Eternals movie, which is going to be in part of the MCU. And because of that, hearing all this in the comics, I am very interested in to see where they're going to go in the movie for this. But anyway, so let's talk about her powers and her abilities. So Thena is obviously an Eternal who is capable of manipulating cosmic energy for a variety of purposes, as well as possessing skills that were learned over the course of millennia of being alive. So she has superhuman strength. She can lift about 25 tons. She's durable. They can resist poison. As long as they have full control over their body's molecules, she's actually able to heal herself without a problem. Superhuman speed. Um, Apparently, they're able to accelerate at greater speeds than an Olympic athlete, which I'm imagining it's just faster than a human. Um, superhuman stamina. They basically can last much longer than a human. Um, super Superhuman agility, so they're very flexible. Ability with or balance and just overall agility. Reflexes beyond the scale, especially compared to another human. Regenerative healing factor, obviously only if she keeps her connection to her molecules. Immortality. She's basically immune to aging, poisons, toxins, and disease. She can fly. She has cosmic energy manipulation, uh, so she can use um, photokinesis. She can basically produce light. Thermokinesis. She can produce heat. Concussive blast. She can create blast from her energy blast from her by using the cosmic energy, and she's able to make handheld weapons out of the cosmic energy themselves. She has molecular manipulation. She can actually rearrange the molecules of an object, transferring it from one thing to another. Granted, she's not that great with it, but she still has the ability to do so. She's telekinetic, meaning she can move things with her mind. She's telepathic. She can teleport. All these things are excellent. Telepath, reading minds, teleportation. Well, I think that should be obvious. She's excellent hand-to-hand combat and with her knowledge of combat and weaponry reuse, thanks to her millennia of Earth being on Earth's history. Obviously, she can lift 25 tons, 25 pounds. That's a lot. As long as she, her basic equipment is her eternal armor, a spear, and her transportation is basically teleportation. Um, Apparently, though, the way she does it, it's unpleasant for herself and her body. Not quite sure what that means. But overall, Thena is going to be, I imagine, going to be the leader of the Eternals, and I'd be interested to see where Marvel goes with it. But I wanted to do this character spotlight on her because the Eternals are going to be such a key point in the MCU, at least for right now, to see where they go with this, and interested to see which Eternals are going to be present. We know Thena is going to be a part of it because Angelina Jolie is going to be playing that character. But other than that, I don't think we're 100% positive on all the other characters quite yet. So I'll be interested to see what they do with that. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. Are you excited about the movie The Eternals? Let me know. Do you think I missed something? Do you think there was pieces that I should have talked about? Please let me know in the comments. Other than that, as always, if you like the content you see, please like and subscribe below. Other than that, this is Beastly Eel signing out. Have a good night.